Hello YouTube. This is a most unusual archaeological discovery, and it's about the two circular stones measuring 50 centimeters in diameter that have been discovered in Castigliere di Rupin-Piccolo, an ancient hilltop fortress in the Italian province of Trieste, and one of them may be one of the oldest celestial maps found in Italy. The discovery was announced in a press release by the Italian National Institute for Astrophysics in January 2024. Castigliere di Rupin-Piccolo is a defensive structure. That Castigliere of Rupin-Piccolo is located on the southern side of the central karst ridge, which presently marks the border between Italy and Slovenia. Used as a fortification from the era between 1800 to 1650 before Common Era until 400 before Common Era. That of Rupin-Piccolo is one of the most important castles, as well as the first brought to light. Among the many castles in the karst area, it's one of the best preserved. It stands immediately outside the town on a limestone hill, the top of which is enclosed by a wall 3 to 4 meters thick, but which in some places reaches up to 7 meters. The height has been preserved for a maximum of 3 meters, but originally it must have been about 7 to 8 meters. Two large circular stones, two thick discs about 50 centimeters in diameter and 30 centimeters deep, were found near the entrance to the Castigliere and attracted the attention of archaeologists. Two stone discs have been found close to each other next to the southeastern entrance of Castigliere of Rupin-Piccolo. They are made of the same material and were carved from the local limestone with roundish shape. Very little is known of the population that had been living for thousands of years in the hill forts, and we do not have a precise date for the manufacturing of the stone disc from Rupin-Piccolo. One of the stones, according to Paolo Malaro of the Italian National Institute for Astrophysics and other researchers, is a representation of the sun, while the other is a carved celestial map dating from the 4th century before Common Era. The pottery assemblage from this Castigliere shows that the hill fort was in use again from about 18 to 1650 to 400 before Common Era, and the stone discs can be safely referred only to this long time span. However, some scientists link them to the earlier building phase of the hill. The German astronomy journal Astronomische Nachrichten published a study about the stones in which the study's authors said that the celestial map shows the sky above Rupin-Piccolo about 2,500 years ago, making the discovery the oldest one of the celestial maps laid out in Italy. I was contacted by Federico Bernardini, whom I did not know, telling me that he needed an astronomer. That's what Malaro said to media of the Italian National Institute for Astrophysics, because he seemed to have identified the constellation of Scorpio in a stone from the Carso. My first reaction was incredulity, given that the southern part of Scorpio is just above the horizon in our latitudes. But then, discovering that the precision of the equinoxes raised it by about 10 to 12 degrees and the impressive coincidence with the constellation, I began to delve deeper into the question. So I identified Orion, the Pleiades, and in the back Cassiopeia. All points present except one. 29 engravings on the stone have been identified by the team, and they perfectly match the constellations of Cassiopeia, Orion, Scorpius, and the Pleiades. The researchers hypothesize that the carvings were probably created by the same person using a hammer and a crude metal chisel with a 7 millimeters tip based on the angle of the cut marks in the stone. The researchers also used the program Stellarium to simulate the night sky because a star called Theta Scorpii was so low on the horizon in the 1800s before Common Era that it cannot be seen today. But let's get to the 29 signs. All but one are superimposable on the stars of Scorpius, Orion, the Pleiades, and probably also considering the 5 signs on the back of the stone, Cassiopeia. And it is an overlap with very high statistical significance. The author specified the p-value is much lower than 0.001. In other words, it is highly unlikely that the arrangement of those signs was purely the result of chance. Not only that, the deviations from the true positions are of the order of the size of the signs, demonstrating considerable care in the execution. All except one. But the 29th sign could also be there on purpose. The intruder could represent a supernova, according to the authors of the study, or a so-called failed supernova. The remnant could be a neutron star or a black hole, which is not visible today, but that may be detected by means of modern astronomical observations. In particular, a black hole is suspected in the case of a failed supernova. So one of those objects that astronomers called transients, at a certain point they make their appearance and then disappear again. If this were the case, researchers suggest there could be a black hole in that point of the sky today. The Nebra disk, a bronze artifact from Germany that dates to approximately 1600 before Common Era and has gold applications to represent the sun, the moon, the Pleiades, is likely the oldest known representation of the night sky. However, it's more of a symbolic representation than a true map. We have to go back to the 1st century before Common Era for so-called faithful maps, during which time maps were most likely derived from the Hipparchus catalog from the 135 before Common Era. Now, from the discovery in Italy, we learn that the ancient craftsmen knew about supernovas. Probably they knew more than just that. I wonder what other discoveries will come from that part of the world. Let's hope as interesting as the 29th sign. I appreciate your attention to my work, and if you like my research, please support me through the links you'll find in the description to this channel, and I will bring you more interesting archaeological discoveries that challenge our knowledge and understanding of the past. Thank you.